Well, jumping the gun, many years later when I was 21, I went to see a very famous clairvoyant called Madame Tamar. Wonderful, wonderful being. Good, she's a wonderful being. And she proceeded to tell me about the events that happened when I was 12. I mean, detail that she had was incredible.
Come on.
And she concluded by saying that the thing that had been wrecking the house was me. At 12 years old, with puberty, your spirit is the most active it'll be probably in your whole life. And it was trying to get my attention. And all of this staking out and everything and trying to catch a ghost that almost didn't exist because we're not talking ghosts of the dead.
Yeah.
We're talking the spirit inside of me.
Saying, wake up.
Trying to get my attention, saying, do you know what you've got housed in your body?
Yeah.
And that was fascinating. Again, it's like ghosts are determined to have me as a subject, not the other way around.
I've known Leafus for many years, and you're one of the most incredible, how to word, shapeshifters I've ever...
Thank you. I actually feel it when it happens.
Yeah, and well, you can call it shapeshifting, some people do, or transmediumship, whatever, I don't know what you call it. What do you call it?
A window.
Window, okay, we call it window.
Because when that happens, we're familiar with the words, when spirit comes over you, generally used by the Christians.
Yeah.
With me, if I'm talking about a subject that's dear to my heart and more to the point is part of the spirit world's agenda, they know when I'm on that subject and they often want to take over my answers.
Yeah.
And if they're going to take over my answer, I feel a change come over me.
Right.
My face may stretch a little,
Yeah.
and my eyes change shape, and I can actually feel the changes,
Yeah.
and I get the most smug attitude come over me, like I know something that the rest of the world doesn't, and I almost can't stop beaming with a grin. And I was told early on by other famous magical people that when you sense something else is trying to answer for you, not only let it, but you be the most student in the room, because it's actually you it's educating, and you must learn to allow your mouth to open and answer without engaging your brain. So you're not making up the answer. It's kind of coming out of you before you can stop it.
Taking away the logic, aren't you?
Well, you're taking away the human inhibition of, am I making this up? Does this sound far-fetched? Is this just my thoughts? If you can answer fast enough and free enough, it's taken out of your hands. Now, I'm not saying that is what it is to have spirit come over you, and you trust it. And I have learned some wonderful things from myself that I didn't know I knew. But in order to release them, somebody has to ask the right question. And so I adore weird questions. And I try to not think about the answer, but to just give it. Yeah, do. I've just had an alien encounter today. And I was warned it was going to happen 2 days ago.
Can you tell me what happened?
This particular one, I say it's an alien encounter. I know it was aliens because I know when... This all sounds so arrogant. Please forgive me because it's not meant to be. In the same way that I can feel when spirits coming over me, I sense when aliens are getting on my case. And I have in the past turned around to people and said, they're here. Who's here? The brothers. What are you on about? There's nothing here. Oh, look out that window. And there's a UFO hanging outside the window, big black triangle, and it's just hanging there. But the thing is, there's nothing unusual about it, except that I knew they were coming. And I'd already told the people in the room, this is cool, they're the brothers that look behind me. And I knew they were there, and I had that Cheshire grin, smugness. So is there a link between aliens and ghosts? You bet. The more I try to study one subject, the more I get dragged in the other. If I try studying aliens, I end up with ghosts.
Some people say that I don't know how you feel about it. They say angels.
Let's get to something a little bit clear. Anything that's not us is an alien.
Right.
Does that mean it's a weird monster from outer space? Yes, because they've got to have a spirit too.
Yeah.
Nothing that is not anything other than an inanimate object contains a living spirit. From a plant to a snail to you to an alien to an angel,
Yeah.
it has to contain a living spirit. Now, there are different sets of them depending on what your favourite subject is. It is a world. We live in a little world. Their world is the universe, is a bigger.
Yeah.
But that's got to cover all other races on other planets. And there has to be some link. Ghosts don't need spaceships.
No.
So you wonder how a spirit from a world that's light years away could ever visit us in any sensible length of time. Well, because ghosts move at the speed of thought.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
They can have a thought and be there, a bit like God has a thought and makes it so. So that is possible by having the spirit freed up to do its thing and not encumbered by the needs of keeping your body alive.
Yeah.
So this is where the link, if you like, between aliens and ghosts. But you asked me what happened to me today. I've just had a terrible fever. You said I've been ill. I've just survived a fever I shouldn't have really survived. And during it, I get delirious. And when I get delirious, I have an alternative way of thinking. I don't dream, I experience. And the difference is, when I wake from a dream, I'm lucky if I even remember what I was doing at that. When I come round from a fever, I could write a book on every detail of where I've just been.
Yeah.
It is a much more total experience, and I'm allowed to remember all of it. They're always extremely solid and real. Smells, scratches, you name it, they're very real. So I take,
People get scratches.
yeah, I take these fever experiences very seriously. Now, 2 nights ago, whilst coming out of a fever, I simply found myself in my car going to park up around a corner. There was another car where I wanted to be, so I went to drive past it, and my car was brought to a halt and started to roll back, so I put the brakes on, and the car fought the brakes, and it's dragging itself backwards down the hill, and it's heading for the parked car. So I'm sort of turning the wheel to sort of straight the car past it, and I'm just about angling the car past it. And because I was going to make it, the parked car started creaking, its brake gave way, and the back of the car swung out towards me to shut me down. And the two cars engaged.
Yeah.
So I fired up the car again, because I'd stopped it, and revved it, and went to pull out of the gap between the two. And to do that, I had to look behind me. And in the sky behind me, about 20, 30 feet up, was a black disc, which I saw as a pupil or an eye. And it was just in the sky between the two cars. And even though it was a disc shape, it appeared to be glowering at me, sort of like angry, and was just looking at me. And I don't know why I thought it was an eye, but it just seemed to look at me. And it had this black ring around it, this black disc with a black ring. So I'm looking at it, and I thought, damn it, I knew it, it's those aliens. So I carried on revving the car, and I got just past the one that I'd been scraping through, and I looked back up, the sky's empty. And suddenly my car's behaving normal, incident over. And that was a fever. I went to come here this afternoon, we climbed in the car, I'm sat there talking, the engine's ticking over, I'm just calming down because I'm not well, before setting off. Suddenly my car goes creak, 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 it's got the handbrake on, I've got my foot on the brake, and it pulls itself out of the drive and starts dragging itself down the hill. and the car starts dragging itself down the hill identically to how it had done 2 nights before, in the exact same manner, with the same angles, the same creaks, the same. So my first reaction was to have a look up in the sky, fully expecting to see this black eye. Of course there isn't one. Look back down, car's now back to normal. There we go. But the strange thing is my car doesn't do that. My car behaves perfectly. It does not set off on its own with the brakes on. But I knew that was going to happen. I'd seen it 2 nights before.
Okay,
So ghosts, aliens, they do.
so what would you say to somebody that is experiencing similar stuff to you and is just starting out with all this? What would be a good advice from you? How would they deal with it? What would you say?
First of all, take a good look at yourself and wonder why you.
Yeah.
And what is it that it's trying to trigger? Does it want you to get involved, or is it driving you away? Because sometimes it just doesn't want you playing. If you've had more than one experience of it, I would say you're part of the game. And by game, I mean the great agenda. And I must touch on that because it's the most important thing. Everything, as I said, that exists can only exist, every living thing, because there's a ghost keeping it ticking over. Some people think ghosts only begin to exist after you've died. You might or might not leave a ghost behind. Everything that's living's already got one. Whether you encounter it after somebody's death is a rare and unusual experience. It's not everybody. It's probably not even 1 in a million. Ghosts that are of the dead are actually quite rare compared to how many living things there are. And if something is still hanging around after your death, there's a reason. But make no mistake, the ghost doesn't get born as you die. It is what's been keeping you alive all your life. And odds are, I can't be certain of this, but the odds are it's a lot older than you and it's done this before. Hence reincarnation, blah, blah, blah. It touched on but never fully appreciated. So your ghost is well old and will go on after you. And it has a huge agenda. And during your lifetime, it will try to steer you to do the things it needs doing in this part of its existence. And you are its agency, its hands. It's working through you. And the lectures I've been giving, which have gone down so well, I call Ghosts of the Living. Because all ghosts are about living, they're not about death. You couldn't live without one.
Basically what you're saying is ghosts are channeling all day long. Basically, they're channeling everything you do, everything where you go.
They're observing you, they will leave you to your agenda. Your own destiny means that you already have something to do with their agenda.
Do you find spirit ghosts, aliens, do you find that comforting? Does that comfort you?
Wonderfully comforting. As an ill person, my death is not something I wish, and I dread leaving this beautiful world. But I know that there's so much going on out there. I'm not just going to a black hole. Or at least I hope I'm not. Otherwise, why mess with me all my life? Just to do that. But Ghosts of the Living. The agenda is everything. And you'll have to forgive me for a moment. I've forgotten the point I was coming to. Fire another nice fresh question at me. Let's see where we go.
Right. Well, we're going to have to do it because we're going to come to the end of our bit at the moment because we've got.
Okay. Well, let me just sum up a little something. The ghosts I have chance to talk about and time to talk about are invariably ghosts related to human beings, simply because there's only so much time on a subject you can hold people's attention or that they can spare to be with you. The subject actually covers everything. Okay, it is a missing science. It is the greatest thing happening on this planet. It's ongoing, it's every second, and there's almost nobody doing anything about it.
Can I ask you a question? What would you like to see happen with the knowledge you've got on this subject?
Me. I just hope that I live long enough to document it and I will have to leave it to others to make of it what they will. I'm really not concerned about what they think I think, or my opinion on myself, or any of that. It's not. I would steer them towards the most wonderful subject in the universe that's right in their face all the time, and they're looking at everything but it.
Yeah.
Everything but
Do you
it.
think it's just about literally just trusting and letting go?
Certainly, you've got to do that. You've got to do that, and you can't be worried about the repercussions, or you will modify it with your own being. As I say, everyone's destiny is already linked to the ghost agenda. If it can leave you to get on with your own life because you're doing the right things, it will mind its own business. It will steer you when you're going to do the wrong thing. If you go into a place where there is a wrongness or darkness, your ghost inside you gets scared.
Yeah.
And whilst you don't know you're in a bad place, your ghost does.
It tries to warn
And
you.
it will make you feel creepy and make you want to flee because it is aware of the damage that can be done,
So this is like.
and it will drive you out.
So this is like when I say to people, like literally that first instinct, trust that gut feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the
Because
most
if you're being made to feel creepy and you should leave, your own ghost is saying, this place does not suit me,
Yeah.
get me out of here. And that's when you get a little intervention from your own ghost. And that's the closest you may ever come to actually communicating with your own ghost.
All right, well, could go on all day, but what I'm going to say is basically I'm so pleased we managed to get this time to talk because we've been trying to do this for a long time, haven't we? We've been trying to grab each other, it's basically because we haven't been able to keep missing each other, didn't we? Or something happened. So I'm really pleased you could speak to me today, Leafus.
Thank you, my darling.
And yeah, thanks for coming.
Well, I hope you don't all think I'm balmy, because it's not about me. It's about the super being that's inside you. And, you know, I can't tell you how super that super being is. It can time travel, it's indestructible. It can be in 3 times at once. I mean, I don't know where to even start. The superpowers that are in everyone. We watch these things, Superman, Spider-Man, and we think, oh, I wish. That is nothing compared to what your ghost can do. And if you let your ghost actually take control of you for seconds or minutes, that's when you have these spiritual people able to walk through fire. I've done it twice just to prove it's real. And I personally, as a human being, cannot walk through fire, but my ghost can. And for the length of time it took to walk that fire, I was wrapped by my own super being. And that's how you survive it. Your ghost is a Superman, and we all have one.
Thank you very much. Thanks then.
God bless. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.